listening to the Ballroom Network. The following program is intended for all audiences. Welcome to the Fantasy Football Goon podcast with your hosts, Joe Mandel, the Goon, and the man with the plan, Adam Schaum. We're bringing you the fantasy football knowledge that you need every single week.
Derrick Henry still going. Stays in bounds. He might go. 99 yards for the touchdown. Unbelievable.
Flushed out again all the way back. Turning the corner. Fires downfield. Caught. Touchdown. Only Mahomes turns what might have been a 15-yard sack into a 27-yard touchdown.
Saquon Barkley across midfield, down the sideline, staying in bounds, and Barkley takes it all the way. 68 yards for his first NFL touchdown. McCaffrey right up the middle, and he is gone for the touchdown. 58 yards. Pass is to Thomas. He's gone. Touchdown Saints.
Okay, it's time for the easiest part of any coach's job, the cut. Now, while I wasn't able to cut everyone I wanted to, I have cut a lot of you. Steven, I like your hustle. That's why it was so hard to cut you. Congratulations, the rest of you made the team. Except you, and you.
God bless fantasy football. There are many things a man can do with his time. And this, better than those things.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome to our special playoff edition of Fantasy Football Goon. I'm one of your hosts, Joe Mandel, the Goon. I'm joined by my co-host, Adam Schaum, the man with the plan, and our buddy Tooch will be joining us a little bit later on this evening. But Adam, how you doing, my friend?
Doing good, Joe. Hopefully everybody's tuned in, survived last week's playoffs, and is here ready to get ready for their semifinal matchups tonight. And already got football going for the evening, so I'm excited.
Yeah, we got the Jets and the Jaguars playing right now, and I believe it's 3-0 last time I checked. I have it on. It's a commercial right now, but either way, we have some players in this game that a couple players that were worth a fantasy start. We'll dive into those guys a little bit later, but man, playoffs are upon us. It's kind of weird to be doing the show during the week, but I kind of like it, Adam.
Yeah, it is unusual, doesn't it? It feels different, but yeah, I could get used to that as well.
Yeah, Sunday's Christmas and Saturday's Christmas Eve, so there's a lot of stuff going on. We figured Thursday night is probably the best time, and plus you get all your games, your advice for the games, except for the one that's going on right now. Although we had a couple of those guys on our lists as well. And yes, the game is now tied, Adam. It's 3-3, Jets, Jaguars. We're 7 minutes left in the first quarter, so lots of football left in this one.
Got a shootout going.
Yeah, just like you wanted, because you're going against both running backs in this game, right? Yeah,
I got one of the semifinal matchup. The opponent, our guy Steven Zimmerman's got Travis Etienne and Zonovan Knight going against me, so I'll take a low-scoring game tonight.
Yeah, Etienne had a nice little gain there a little while ago. I think it was about 15 yards, but since then, not much. But anyway, Adam, here we are diving headfirst into the playoffs. And by the way, guys, get us your questions here in the chat. As it says at the bottom of the screen, we are answering all questions all night long. We're probably going to go for about an hour tonight. We'll see how things go. And just a reminder to everybody, directly following us, I believe it's 9 o'clock Central, you've got Science Fiction on the Ballroom Network coming up. So if you're into that kind of stuff and you want to talk science fiction, movies, comics, that's coming up right after us. But until then, you get your fantasy football fix from us. But, 3-3. Rough sledding right now, and I'm not talking about outside because there's plenty of snow. I'm sure all these folks are sledding around just fine. I'm going to go do some snow blowing after this show, Adam. But let's dive into our quarterback starts of the week. And why don't you lead things off for us?
All right. I got a Geno Smith going this week versus Kansas City. I like this game a lot for fantasy this weekend. I think there's a whole lot of points to be involved there. I think it should be one of the higher scoring games of the weekend. Geno's been steady, all season. He's still a top 10 quarterback on the year. He's been startable almost every week. And we know Kansas City's going to put points on the board and they're going to have to keep up. So I really like Geno in this game. And our guy Kirk Cousins, man, huge monster game last week for the first round of the playoffs. People, I don't see any reason that can't happen again this week versus the Giants. Again, they should be putting up points on the board. The Giants secondary is not very good. Cousins is just, with his weapons there, it's just easy for him to put points up, and he's really never going to completely screw you. And at this point in the playoffs, that's what you need is safety. So I'm taking Kirk Cousins all day. And I'm going back to Tom Brady once again. He's got the matchup versus Arizona. Arizona secondary is terrible. Everybody can throw on them. Tom Brady loves tight ends, and tight ends love playing against Arizona. I think the Bucs beat the Cardinals pretty good this weekend. So those are the guys I like this weekend. What do you got, Joe?
You're gonna laugh. I'm gonna pull up my quarterback starts. We did this at completely different times.
Oh man, nailed them all.
We have the exact same guys.
I thought maybe two, but all three, huh?
Yeah, I got all three. But I wanted to talk about a little rumor that's swirling around in Tampa Bay. I don't know if you heard about this, Adam, but Rob Gronkowski tweeted that he's bored. Boy. There's some speculation that he might pop up and come back and play for the Buccaneers for a potential playoff run. That would be interesting. That would be insane if it happened.
Yeah, absolutely. To me, what's even more insane is that like Tampa Bay and the Falcons and Saints, all these teams are in the playoff race still. Like they're all terrible. That's the problem I have with the NFL and the playoffs. Like that's where I wish it was more of a top 8 or 10 teams, rather than guaranteed playoffs because you win the division.
They should ban that division from the playoffs this year, as far as
right. Exactly. I just hate a guaranteed team getting in when there'll be another team with 10 wins not get in, but one of these teams with 8 wins is going to get in. So
you know how it goes, man. But
I wouldn't be surprised if Gronk jumped right in there and did it. It wouldn't shock me.
All they got to do is get in and get hot. I really don't think it's going to happen. I can't imagine he's in football shape, but you never know.
Yeah, I don't know that he cares if he's in football shape or not. Does he just run out there and play for a couple games?
Yeah, right. I'm gonna say I'll come play for 3 games. Sure,
I can go run 20 routes today. Why not?
Yeah, I got it. No problem. But don't get any crazy ideas, fantasy owners. It's almost championship. Don't go lassoing Gronk on a hope. That's not going to happen for playoffs.
No, it's not going to help fantasy managers.
But we have the same exact guys, ironically, and noted that we all do these notes at totally different times, so it's strictly a coincidence. But I think all 3 of these games, I think, will be fantasy gold, and you can't go wrong. We'll go over our buddy Tuch's QB picks. I'm sure he'll be here in a bit, but he's got 2 guys on his list that we don't have, so we might as well talk about his guys. He's got Justin Fields and Aaron Rodgers. Fields against the Bills. That's a bit of a hot pick. That's like a hot take.
He was almost one of mine. I almost put him on my list. Fields gets it done against anybody, man. He had a great game last week versus the Eagles. The Eagles defense has been way better than the Bills this season, honestly. The Bills gave people negative points in the fantasy playoffs last week. If you played
-2, and it cost me a playoff matchup, Adam, where I lost by 1.5 points. Yeah,
just brutal. They haven't been great all year, and then especially since Von Miller went down the last few weeks, it's just been even further downhill. And so Fields makes plays no matter what. He's going to break a long run. It seems like every game. It's pretty amazing how he pulls off these 50-yard runs literally almost every game.
It's going to be horrible out on Saturday.
Yeah, that's true. It is going to be bad weather. I think it's a pretty safe play with his legs at least. I don't expect a lot in the passing game in that for sure.
Yeah, he might rush for 300 yards by himself in that game. So
yeah, just don't kill yourself.
Yeah. And Jordan Poyer makes the Pro Bowl today, of course, and after the defense has been horrendous.
Yeah.
The defense is great for like the past 3 years, doesn't make the Pro Bowl, but the year that the Bills defense is like not great, the second half, then get on the Pro Bowl. You're good.
Yeah. Yep.
And then we talked about Geno. Or go ahead.
I was going to say, I think Aaron Rodgers versus Dolphins is a pretty decent play too. Rodgers had his Dobbs back the other night. You could tell he was pretty happy to have him back. And while it took forever to get Watson going there, you could tell they were towards the end or second half, and especially towards the end of the game, Rodgers really likes him. You can tell they had a little thing going where he was wanting to get him going, and when he finally got him the ball, he was like, "There you go, now keep going. Let's do this."
This is just my reaction to that, Adam. That the touchdown pass where he didn't turn around. It's going to haunt me because it cost me a matchup. It should have been a touchdown pass.
Yeah. But I think, obviously we know the Dolphins can score, so they're going to score, and Rodgers is going to throw a bunch back at them. So I think it's a pretty good play.
Yeah, it is. Just, I don't know. Aaron Rodgers took my heart and crumpled it up and smashed it last week. So
hey, there's not a single athlete I dislike more than Aaron Rodgers. I promise you that.
Yeah, he didn't help. He didn't help his cause with me last week, but it is what it is.
Me neither, because I lost on the catch by Watson in the fourth quarter with 5 minutes left. I got beat on that 13-yard catch by Watson.
You're lucky it took you that long to lose, man.
I know, but that makes it even worse, though, because I would have rather just a 50-yard pass to start the game and got it over with.
Yeah, exactly.
Rather than drag me through it for 55 minutes and then break my heart.
Yeah, that's brutal stuff right there. But great picks by the Tooch. I like it.
Yep.
I like it, Tooch. We'll tell him to his face when he gets here. We'll see when that is. His kids got swim lessons today.
I can't imagine getting in a pool on a day like this.
They might they might have to swim home. I don't know. That made more sense in my head before I said that joke. But it's not like it's going to magically melt all the snow and all of a sudden it's like Noah's Ark.
Right.
It's not my finest day. As you can tell, I'm drinking while I'm doing the show. It's the first time all season, Adam, that I'm having a drink during the show.
It's the holidays.
Yeah, it is the holidays. I feel like I'm in the North Pole.
Are you off work for Christmas yet? Or
yes, today was my last day until January 3rd.
Same here, man. Yep, it's been a good day.
A lot of drinking, a lot of eating.
Yeah, exactly.
I got a box of crab legs or a box of lobster tails delivered to my house today.
Oh, wow. Nice.
I avoided going to Costco, so I ordered them on Costco.com. It's smart because that way I don't step foot in a Costco.
Right.
And get all the other stuff.
I've never been to a Costco. Fact.
Well, Adam, you should be happy. It's a great place, but it's an easy place to spend $700.
Well, we go to Sam's Club.
Oh, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Never mind.
So, and
it's the exact same thing.
I actually talked about going to Costco last weekend when we were having Christmas with my brother's family, and I was basically told that's not allowed because my brother works for Sam's Club and is pretty high up with Sam's Club, and he was like, "You're not going to Costco."
Hey, man, nothing wrong with Sam's Club.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of money there too, man.
I want to go there and check it out, though. But
well, what you can do is if you're ever driving by, and our listeners, here's a tip for you. You need a membership to go shop at Costco, but if you want to get lunch, you can go and get a hot dog or whatever, and you do not need a membership to go get lunch.
Yeah.
So you can get your $1 hot dog with like a giant drink and whatever for like $2.
Yeah, that's how Sam's Club is too.
Well, that's what happens, Adam, is like you spend $800 and that's like you can reward yourself with a $1 hot dog.
On your way out the door. Yeah.
It's like a reward. See, the show just went off the rails. I love it.
Eat away your depression after spending $800.
Yeah, I mean, I'll eat 3 hot dogs after I spend $800.
Right.
But, yeah, this is the show's about fantasy football. It's about everything. We're just having a good time here, guys. So whoever's watching, I see there's a few people out there enjoying the show. So if you have comments, feel free to comment. It doesn't have to be about fantasy football. You can talk about Costco for all I care. But Adam and I are going to hop into our running back starts of the week.
Let's do it.
Let's see. It's funny. I'm looking at our starts of the week, and we both share two guys. We share two guys.
Oh, boy.
But I like J.K. Dobbins against Atlanta this week. I have him in a lot of leagues, and I think this is the week it finally pays off. He looks like he might be pretty healthy-ish. I'd say he looks like he's probably about 90%. And Atlanta's horrendous, and Baltimore doesn't really have anybody else that's worthy of the PPR game, the rushing game. I don't know. I like Dobbins a lot, Adam. I've been impressed with what I've seen out of him.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. You actually made me think about that more with the quarterback, with Lamar being out again and everything.
Exactly. Chuck
yeah,
downs.
that is really – I thought about him, but, yeah, you make that sound really good as well. He's had 2 good weeks, and, like you said, he looks definitely really close to being healthy.
Your boy ETN just took a big shot.
Oh.
He's not out, but he took a heck of a shot.
Well, he's not my boy. I don't want anybody injured. But
I know. That's why I'm just saying, he's your boy.
Yeah, exactly.
Landed hard on the shoulder, so we'll keep an eye on that. Another guy I really like this week, and you have him as well, is Najee Harris against the Raiders. They can't stop the run. If they can't stop anybody for that matter.
He's really turned his season around the last month or so. He was horrendous at the start of the year. And he was unusable. And now he's really been consistent for over a month.
And now he gets a killer matchup. The Steelers are very emotional this week with the loss of legend Franco Harris. I think you're going to – what's that?
Kenny Pickett should be back under center this week.
Yeah. I think Kenny Pickett's back. I think that team's going to be fired up. Najee Harris is going to be a world beater. I really like the matchup. And a guy that I said I didn't expect him to do it again last week, did it again, in Jerick McKinnon.
Yeah.
They're utilizing this guy as a super weapon, and he gets to go against Seattle's defense, which the last couple weeks has looked like a revolving door. So I think Jerick is going to have another huge day, and he's now you have to start him. So I think all three of these guys are actually must starts in my book.
It's pretty crazy to me with Kansas City. We went from a team that you could never start a running back for to now you really can start 2 running backs almost every week right now. Both guys are getting good work, and they're very efficient. And, McKinnon's we know how much they throw the ball, so he's not even that much of a running back as much as he is just a pass-catching back. But, it's wild how they went from nothing to now you can really start him and Pacheco almost any time.
Yeah, that whole offense has just evolved. I think that's why they're so good. They're finally figuring out what they got to do.
Yeah,
so those are
Clyde Edwards-Helaire's definitely getting cut or released, right?
I would hope so.
Yeah, there's no way they're going to bring him back.
Yeah, they can't with good faith. They really can't. But let's take a look at our buddy two. Oh wait, let me go to yours real quick. You've got 2 of the same guys, but you got another guy who's been very impressive as well.
Yeah, the other one, same game still as we've been talking about. On the other side, though, Kenneth Walker returned last week. I was pretty afraid to play him because coming off that ankle injury that looked pretty bad, and he only missed 1 week. It was kind of shady. I thought that he was coming back that quick. But he played the whole game and had a decent game and really looked good towards the end of the game when they were playing from behind and throwing the ball. He's a really good pass catcher. And that, I think, also plays into why Geno Smith's going to be a good play. But, again, we talked about all the points. So I think playing from behind, Kenneth Walker is going to see quite a few targets in this game and get some dump-offs. And, like I said, he broke a 35-yarder the other night. He almost scored on it. I think he went down inside the 5-yard line.
Yeah.
So I really like him, man. He's a good player, and the future looks really good for Kenneth Walker and the Seahawks.
Yeah, it certainly does. Again, all 4 of the guys we've talked about in the last few minutes are quality starts, and they should be starting in every playoffs, whether you're in an 8-man, a 10-man, or a 12-man league. Why is it saying my laptop is unplugged? I have to plug it back in. Okay. I love all these guys here, Adam. While I find my laptop plug before it dies, I will let you feel the question that just came in, Adam.
What we got?
from our buddy Cesar.
Chubbs or Dobbins or both? Well, Nick Chubb is going to be a play for sure, I would say. Cesar, what would be the other option besides Dobbins as far as if you play both? What would be your other option would be my question there. I'm playing Chubb, though, against the Saints. The Saints defense isn't too scary like they used to be. So the Browns, Watson's not getting it done through the air very much. They're going to need to run the ball with Chubb. So I'm definitely playing Nick Chubb. I'd have to know who you'd be choosing between Dobbins over on the other side.
Yeah, for me, it's both. But, I mean, it depends. Let us know here in the comments, Chubb. Or
Yeah,
Cesar.
I mean, unless it's like a stud. Unless it's like a stud,
is.
Yeah, I would play
It
both.
Yeah, you're not benching him.
Yeah, no. I'm probably
McCaffrey and Chubb.
Yeah, McCaffrey and Chubb. Maybe you can squeeze Dobbins in a flex. I don't know.
Yeah, depending on your league. I mean, I might like him as a flex. So stay tuned. Keep talking to us, Cesar. Let us know. And is it Caesar or Cesar? I want to know the way you say it. It's because I get annoyed when people call me by, when someone calls me Joey, it drives me nuts. So
Yeah.
It's all about pronunciation. So Cesar, Caesar / Cesar, let me know the right way to say it in the chat room, because I want you to be happy with my pronunciation, because it drives me nuts.
Yep.
But let's get to our buddy Tooch's running back starts of the week. And look at that. He's got Dobbins as well. I think he's got a great matchup, and that's easy to say. But two other names here of, one name we would expect to see, but Raheem Mostert is a guy that, a lot of people have been kind of sleeping on, because you have Jeff Wilson, who's banged up. But look at their matchup, Adam. The Packers are horrible against the run.
Yeah, it's a fantastic matchup. I haven't really heard an update on Jeff Wilson for this week, but when he got injured last week or the week before that, I guess that was, it looked like an injury where he was going to miss some time to me. It didn't look like a 1 week thing or anything, and he's had an injury history. So, yeah, with him out, Mostert's a really good play, especially in this matchup versus Packers, who, like you said, his run D is terrible. And the Dolphins are going to put up points. So Mostert has a very good chance of scoring and having a 100-yard game.
Yeah. Yeah, I love Mostert. Tony Pollard's another guy that I like a lot. And real quick, before we talk about Tony Pollard, Trevor Lawrence took a hit and his head hit the turf. And he looks like he is being checked on for concussion. Is he back in the game? He's back in the game. All right.
Man, he's taken a beating the last few weeks, it seems like.
Yeah, his head hit the turf, and he was a little out of it. I'm surprised he's back in the game so quick. But
man, what a difference coaching has made down there.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see what happens to them next year.
Yeah, that reminded me so. Last year, that reminded me so much of the first year of John Fox and Mitch Trubisky, where it's just like it's completely hopeless, and like the whole Trevor Lawrence is so much better this year with Peterson. And the future actually looks like what we heard about forever.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one. Excited to see what happens there. Heck, they're even in the playoff running right now at 6-8, which is weird.
Yeah, totally.
Well, both these teams, the Jets too, with 7-7. But Tony Pollard has been impressive. Both Cowboys running backs have. Adam and I were actually having this conversation before we went live. I got a league where I got to decide between DeAndre Swift against Carolina or Zeke versus the Eagles. So, it's tough skating, but the Eagles have been very beatable on the ground.
They have.
And Tony Pollard has been a world beater. I mean, he looks like a guy that's going to be a force for a long time. And I love his matchup against the Eagles. I think he's a must start. And, man, Zeke is another guy. I'm talking about myself here, but I'm so on the fence, Adam, about Zeke. I think this is a good place to talk about him. Like, we all know Tony Pollard needs to be in everyone's lineup right now just because of how explosive he is. But Zeke is a vulture too. He could have 3 touchdowns in a game, and he could still have 80 to 90 yards rushing.
Yeah, I think both of these guys are pretty much must starts right now. Zeke's getting touchdowns every week. Tony Pollard's getting receptions every week, touchdowns most weeks, and usually at least 50 yards on the ground rushing. So I think both of the guys are damn near must starts. Zeke is, I mean, there's a really good chance he gets one touchdown and probably a better than 50% chance he can get two touchdowns. So it's tough to sit either one of them. And like in your situation with Swift, we talked about it earlier. He's splitting time too, and I believe last week was another one of those down weeks where he had like 10 touches or less again. I think, or after he'd had a
Yeah,
spike
man.
the week before, and then it was back down last week. And I don't have Swift anywhere, but he's one of those players I would not feel comfortable playing in the playoffs on my team. He could easily score 25 points, but it's just one of those things. I just would be nervous about it the whole time.
Yeah, man, I could tell you I'm so torn, but I think Zeke is probably the safer play. You kind of talked me into that.
Zeke's getting the ball in that game no matter what. They're paying him. He's going to get the ball. They get to the goal line. He's going to get the ball. You don't know that for sure with Swift. Swift's gotten lucky on some 7, 8, 10 touch games where he's caught a little short pass and got in the end zone.
Yeah, for sure.
Am
I breaking up to you, Adam, or you can hear me?
Video's a little shaky, but I can hear you.
All right. Yeah, something must be going on with my internet. So, well, at least I'm still here, so that's good news.
Tony Pollard, though, would be the number one guy I would want the Bears to go after in the offseason as free agent. I believe he's a free agent, isn't he?
Yes, well, for now.
Yeah, I would give anything. To me, that's the number one offensive guy I would go after if I was the Bears. I would probably let Montgomery go and pay. I think you could get Pollard for the same price or less.
Yeah.
And I love Montgomery, but
agree.
Pollard's fast and younger.
Yes, he is. And man, my internet's lagging bad. Am I coming through all right for you, Adam?
Yeah, the audio's fine.
Interesting. Could just be my computer, but such is life. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off this football game over here because that might be eating some of my bandwidth. As you guys know, there's a giant winter storm hitting all across the Midwest, so bear with me if anything goes wrong. Well, here, Adam, let's do this. I am going to pull up your wide receiver starts, and I'm going to pop out and join back in and see if that fixes my problem. So what I'll do is I'll pull up your wide receiver starts if they ever want to show up, because I clicked on it like 10 seconds ago.
Yeah, I see them.
Hey, there they are. All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to pop in and out, and I'll let you speak to those, and I'll be back in just.
All right. See you back in a minute.
All right.
So my wide receiver starts for this week. I'm going back to the well as I did with Tom Brady, and I'm going to start Mike Evans against the terrible Arizona secondary. Mike Evans has been so close on long touchdowns the last few weeks, and I think this is definitely the week it happens. I would prefer to play him as like my flex play, not necessarily my wide receiver one, as maybe you might have drafted him as, but I still think he's a solid play in that game. And Juju Smith-Schuster, again, another player in the Chiefs Seahawks game. He's really become Mahomes' favorite target outside of Travis Kelce, definitely of the wide receiver group. And he's seeing a lot of targets every game, and he's really found a role there. I expect him to see 10 targets in that game easy. And we mentioned a minute ago the Packers, Christian Watson. I think Rodgers is going to make a point to get him going much earlier in that game, and they're going to have to keep up with Miami again from playing behind, most likely, because I think the Miami team is substantially better, and the offense we know is great. So I think Watson's going to need to play a lot of catch-up there. Again, I think you can't really go wrong with the Seahawks and Chiefs game on that one with Juju and McKinnon, as we talked about a minute ago. Not sure who Joe has tonight. Hopefully he'll be back in just a moment. If anybody else has any questions, go ahead and get them in now, and Joe will field them here or get them up on the screen here as soon as he gets back in. Let me see here. Let's get an update on the Jets game real quick. They're still 3-3, it looks like. I believe. Still 3-3 in the second quarter. Fantasy-wise, we've got 7 yards for Zonovan Knight. Trevor Lawrence, 5 of 8 for 68 yards. Travis Etienne, 13 carries already for 56 yards. Trevor Lawrence also 25 yards rushing on the ground. Evan Ingram with 3 catches for 41 yards already. Evan Ingram's been really hot lately. Not sure if Joe might have had him as one of his starts tonight or not. Joe's been an Evan Ingram guy for a while. This has been his most healthy and productive year, I think, probably since his rookie year anyway in New York. It seems like he's been injured ever since then. But not a whole lot of fantasy goodness going on there. Just some yardage, no touchdowns or anything yet. Zach Wilson only 1 for 4 for 27 yards. A little sneak peek ahead. I have Christian Kirk as one of my sits this week. Expecting a tough matchup there versus Sauce Gardner in that game. And, yeah, he's only got 1 catch for 4 yards right now. Christian Kirk has been really good all season in good matchups, but really bad in tough matchups. On the Jets side of things, we got Tyler Conklin with 1 catch for 27 yards. Probably the best season of his career this year as well. It was a solid pickup out of Minnesota. Oh, we got a touchdown, Jacksonville. Not sure how they scored. They got a touchdown. It says 10-3 now. Joe must be having quite a bit of difficulty getting back on with us. I apologize for the slow time here. Again, if anybody has any questions or anything, go ahead and get them in there. And as soon as we get back on here, we'll get them all answered.
Hey, I'm back.
There's the guy. He's back.
I had to restart my entire computer.
All the snow, man. I'm sure it's messing with everything.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. It's. I got one of those new connectors. It's like a USB-C hub for my laptop, and I think it's just draining power from it. So I think that's got something to do with it. But anyway,
I tried to keep us updated on what was happening in the game that was going on right now. It looked like Jacksonville got a touchdown, but I couldn't figure out how they scored.
Yes, I can find out for everyone here real quick as well. But I didn't get a chance to. Were you talking about the game? Did you talk about your picks while I was gone, Adam? I'm assuming so.
Yeah, I went over those wide receivers I had there, and then I talked about the game that was going on. I kind of went over the fantasy stats of the game currently between the Jaguars and the Jets that was happening.
There you go. You got Trevor Lawrence with a rushing touchdown, Adam.
Rushing touchdown. Okay. Yeah, he had like 25 yards rushing, it said, and ETN with 56 yards, I think, already.
Yeah, naturally. We'll see how that goes. But I like all your picks here. Mike Evans is a guy I've got on my list as well. I think the matchup is just, no pun intended, it's like a pirate's bounty. Man, I worked way too hard on that one. Mike Evans it's the kind of matchup that he's just going to eat all day. Tom Brady's going to have a great day. And Juju, I like the matchup against Seattle. And your boy Watson, I think he's going to learn hard from his Monday night mishaps and have a great day. So I like all those picks. Thanks to everyone in the chat room. I got some people texting me saying they can see and hear me loud and clear. All right. That's what I like to hear.
Yep. You're looking good now.
I appreciate it, man. But I like Mike Evans, like we said. A guy that I continue to have on this list who's been looking very good as of late is Jerry Jeudy. The Rams can't stop anybody. The the Packers stopped themselves in the air last week. It wasn't anyone else's fault. So I think Jerry Jeudy is going to eat well. And then Chris Moore is an intriguing name. He's going to be a wide receiver 1, and he's available pretty much in every single league for the most part. He's a Texans wide receiver, but Tennessee is a horrible defense as well. So I think Chris Moore is worthy of a flex start in almost all leagues, Adam. Even if you're in a 10-man, I'll go that far. I'm putting stock in Chris Moore. I know some people think it's crazy. It kind of is crazy for a semifinal week, but I like it, man. He's going to be like legit their number 1 wide receiver because they're so banged up.
Man, I was kind of into Chris Moore last week, and the week before that, I think I was looking at him. And now Houston is puzzling to me. I mean, the last couple of weeks they've played extremely well versus Dallas and then Kansas City to overtime. They almost beat Dallas down to the last seconds. They take Kansas City to overtime. They're just not like the weakness we thought they were. And then last week we saw Tennessee pretty much shut down San Diego's wide receivers and Justin Herbert. So I'm like,
I can't explain it, man.
Yeah, I get where you're going with Chris Moore, especially in a PPR league, because he's been seeing a ton of targets. And like I said, I've looked at him for a couple of weeks, but man, after last week with the Chargers thing versus Tennessee, I don't know. I'd be concerned to play a Texans receiver against them, even though they're been the worst pass defense. I know.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But maybe that was just a bad day by the Chargers,
Could certainly happen for sure. But those are the guys I got. Our buddy Tooch has got some quality names as well, and this thing is acting up on me again. So maybe it is my internet. But let me see if I can get this to close. All right, now I'm showing my picks. Let's see if I can get Tooch's to show up now.
There we go.
It's like a mega huge delay.
Yeah, I see.
Are you seeing them?
He's got Juju like I had versus Seahawks, which was a great choice. The other one, he's got Keenan Allen. We just mentioned the Chargers against the Colts, and Michael Pittman on the other side versus the Chargers. I like Michael Pittman a lot this week. He was almost one of mine. He would have been like my 4th choice. I think they're starting Nick Foles, it sounds like, this week instead of Matt Ryan. And
yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and the Chargers defense has been a letdown all year, so especially his secondary. Derwin James has been hurt again for most of the season. Pittman's man, if they would just throw him the ball a little further down the field, he would be having monster games. But right now he's getting 10 catches for 60 yards instead of 10 for 100. But still, PPR leagues, which most of us are playing in, I think that's a really good play this week.
Yeah, he's been a world beater, man. Keenan Allen for me in that other league that I was in with Greg Braggs that I lost by a negative defense is what killed me. Yeah. But Keenan Allen was a dog for me like the last month. He was just kicking all kinds of ass. So
yeah, for sure.
And I like Michael Pittman, even with his weird circumstances.
Yeah, he's not had the season we thought. I really expected him to be a top 10 wide receiver this season, and I don't think it's on him. It's mostly due to their terrible quarterback play and their crazy coaching situation and bad offensive line play. And so if they get a quarterback next year,
season.
Yeah, if they get a good quarterback, Pittman will be a stud.
Yeah, he still is to a certain extent.
Right.
But let's take a look at the tight end starts of the week, Adam. I'll go with mine first. I really like a guy that's in this game right now. Of course, it's kind of a cheat code, but I had him in my notes before this game started, and I like Evan Ingram a lot. What he's done. And did I freeze up, or you guys? You still got me?
I got you.
All right. I see myself frozen, but
yeah, you are on the screen, but we can hear you. There you go. You're back.
It's all kind of weird stuff going on.
Evan Ingram had like 3 for 41. It said when you were gone. I was checking in on it.
Yeah, so he's becoming a tight end that next year I think is going to be a top 10 for sure. I love what I see out of him. I think he's going to have a great game. I think he's going to score a touchdown, and I think he's going over 100 tonight, Adam. I'm going to say it. Another guy I really like this week, and I think going forward, I like Noah Fant and his matchup against Kansas City. This is a guy that, he's been a roller coaster of a year. I think we all knew that was going to happen, but Kansas City not very good against the tight end. And they're going to have to work with Noah Fant. I think he's going to be a big dog in this game. I think he's going to be a factor. If they want to win this game, Noah Fant is going to have to be involved in the passing game. So I like Noah Fant as a tight end play this week. And a guy that Adam doesn't like this week, I like Dawson Knox a lot. And I'll tell you why. It's because the weather's going to suck in Chicago, and they're going to have to dink and dunk. And that's a Dawson Knox kind of game, at least in my opinion. So he blew up last week, another guy that I benched that cost me a playoff spot. And I think he's going to do it again this week. They're going to have to rely on him. It's going to be a snow blizzard on Saturday in Chicago. All my friends on Facebook are like selling their tickets for like reduced prices. Like it's like, you can get these $300 tickets here, $50, $25. I'm like, yeah, you're going to be freezing your balls off of that game.
Nice.
So I like all three of those guys, Adam.
Yeah, Dawson Knox has been really hot the last couple of weeks. So those are good choices. And Noah Fant, he's been really under the radar all season. A lot of people kind of forgot about him when he was traded away from Denver.
Yeah.
And Seattle really uses him and Will Dissly and stuff. But, again, I just love that game altogether. I think anybody you can start in that game is going to give you points.
Yeah.
But the guys I like this guy's a big name, but he's been out for a long time and just came back last week, and that's Darren Waller. He came back for the Raiders, looked good, had a touchdown last week. Playing against Pittsburgh, his defense is not too scary, and Derek Carr's finally got all his weapons. Finally got Josh Jacobs, Darren Waller, Hunter Renfrow, Devontae Adams. Everybody's finally healthy, so in a good matchup, I think the Raiders have a pretty good day. And I'll take Cole Kmet on the other side of that Dawson Knox play. Again, you mentioned the weather and stuff. I don't expect a whole lot of passing yards from Justin Fields in this game, but I think the ones he does get are probably going to go to his guy Cole Kmet. With Darnell Mooney out, Cole Kmet's definitely his number one favorite guy. So I think he could get 5 or 6 dump offs, and maybe he breaks one out and gets a long run or scores a touchdown. And last week, this guy burnt a lot of people, man, with a big donut, but it was really his first bad game of the year.
I know.
But, they've had completely up and down quarterback play for a few weeks, and now Pickett's going to be back this week. So Pat Freiermuth, solid guy. I'm going back to him. I think next year Pat Freiermuth is, I think he's a top 5 tight end now, but he's definitely a top 5 tight end next year when Pickett gets a little more comfortable and developed. But I love him in this matchup versus Las Vegas. I just mentioned Waller on the other side of it. I think quite a few points could be scored there as well. So Freiermuth, start him up again. Don't be afraid of the donut last week.
Fire him up, baby. Don't be scared. Good old Pat. He's here to help you move on to the fantasy championship if it's a win this week, or if you're in some weird leagues. Some leagues play the championship in 2 weeks from now, but I think that's dumb. Anyone who's got a final week of the season, that's just stupid. So hopefully not. Hopefully your commissioner's not that much of an idiot, because I'd say that to their face. I was in a league one time, Adam, that did that, and I had a lot to say to the commissioner, and I basically told him that he's the worst commissioner on the face of the planet. Blah blah blah. I offered to run the league the next year, and I got kicked out.
Well, yeah, that sucks, because, you get there and you get to the end, and then a lot of times those great players that got you there are on great teams, and their players sit out that last week for a bye or whatever to get healthy and rest up for the playoffs, because the game doesn't mean anything to them. So, yes, if you're in a league like that, make your commissioner change it or find a new league.
Amen, man. It's gotta be fair, and it's really tough to swallow that pill to lose a championship because of that. I mean, I think that's just trash. So hopefully that's not your commissioner. But our buddy Tooch has got some pretty good starts here, Adam. He shares 2 with you, and a guy that we've had on this list a lot the last few weeks, and Greg Dulcich at the Rams. He's kind of exploded onto the scene.
Yeah, until I needed him, and then he didn't.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, I love the player. I think he's going to be good going forward. It's just, man, that offense is just so bad right now. You
It's a
just can't
dumpster
count. I
fire.
mean, they've had a couple of good games lately, but it's just so up and down. I'm just trying to avoid the risk plays right now in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's a good call. It's tough to do. But again, Tooch has got 2 of the other great plays here, and I'm hoping he makes it on, at least so we can say hello to him before the holidays, before the end of the show. Reminder to everyone in the chat room, get us all your questions. We're going to answer them here live on the air, even though my computer's being really weird, but we'll figure that out another time. Let's see here. We got through our tight ends. Did we do wide receivers yet, Adam? We did. Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
So we can head on down to our defensive starts of the week. And I think it's the week that the Buccaneers explode. You get the Kyler Murray-less Arizona Cardinals. The Bucs have been playing better defense. That's not like they're giving up an insane amount of points. And, I mean, it's just a perfect matchup to pick them up and play them. They are available in a shockingly high amount of leagues right now because of how they've performed over the last month of the season. But worth a pickup, worth a play, in my opinion.
It's a great call. They're going against a third-string quarterback. I believe it's Trace McSorley starting. Colt McCoy's out too.
Yeah, Colt's banged up. I love everything about the Buccaneers this week, so fire them up with confidence. Same thing with the Chargers, Adam. I really like them against Indy. As we mentioned before, Nick Foles getting the start. He's going to be a little rusty, I would imagine, a lot of rusty. And that Chargers,
it's kind of Nick Foles' specialty is just walk in and play good all of a sudden. He's good for He's probably good for one great game right here.
I guess it's possible, but I think that pass rush is a lot to handle coming back.
That's true.
Khalil Mack and company. We'll see what happens. And then
how has Mack's season been? Do you know how many? I haven't heard a whole lot about it. Like it's kind of been quiet.
I have not heard much at all.
So I think he got a couple of sacks last week, maybe, but I haven't heard much leading up to that. I mean, that whole defense has been a letdown. So
the whole team has been.
Yeah.
Khalil Mack.
Outside of Eckler.
Yeah, Eckler, of course, is cementing himself as a top fantasy pick. But let's see. So far this year, he has 7 sacks.
So about what he was doing for Chicago the last couple of years.
Yeah, he's pretty much in line with what you would expect. And then a team that I'm starting this week, Adam, and it's a ballsy move, but I like the Detroit Lions against the Carolina Panthers this week. Call it a feeling, call it a good vibes for that team right now. Call it what you want. I'm starting the Lions this week, Adam, and tell me if I'm insane.
No, I like it. I mean, the Lions are hot, man. They've been hot right now. Dan Campbell's got that defense that's been playing better and better. They're not the weakness they were the first half of the season anymore. That team's really good, man, right now. They and versus Carolina, we know they're just kind of a train wreck over there. You never know what you're going to get. Sam Darnold's at quarterback now. I like that call. I'm sure you can get them on the wire.
I did. I picked them up 2 weeks ago, actually, because I saw the Carolina matchup.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I got to take that gamble. So I'm going to do it. And hopefully it doesn't murder me. It can't be any worse than the Bills -2 last week. So at least hopefully not. I'm sure I just jinxed it. But Adam, why don't you talk about your defensive starts of the week?
Well, the one I stashed 2 weeks ago, like you just mentioned, was the Titans versus Houston. Kind of an eyeball in that matchup. However, like I mentioned a few minutes ago, Houston has turned the tables the last couple of weeks on teams and played the Chiefs and the Cowboys great. So I don't know, but I'm still pretty comfortable playing the Titans versus, Houston's not going to put up a ton of points or anything. So I think they're a pretty safe play. And I love the Broncos mostly to this week. They're probably my favorite. team versus the Rams. Rams backup quarterbacks again. Really no good receivers playing. Van Jefferson's their main guy. Not saying he's not good, but he's not a true wide receiver one. Broncos have solid defense all the way around, especially against the run. So I think it's going to be a tough day for the Rams offense all around. And that, thankfully for the Broncos, I don't think they'll need their offense to score a whole lot.
Yeah, their defense will be fine.
Yeah, I think they can handle the 10 points Russell Wilson will get them. And I like Cleveland Browns, man. They've been playing pretty good the last couple of weeks on defense. They put up a lot of fantasy points with sacks and turnovers. New Orleans, we know Andy Dalton's happy to give some turnovers to you. He'll definitely likely to throw a couple of interceptions your way. So I think the Browns get a very good play against New Orleans. The Browns are still playing for something, so they've got every incentive to give it all they got and try to win that game. And I think they rattle Andy Dalton and Myles Garrett.
Yeah, that's crazy to me that they're still in it. But, I mean, I guess that's just kind of the nature of the season this year.
Yeah.
And Tuch has all the same guys that we've talked about. He's got, of course, the Browns, the Bucks, and the Titans, all great picks as well.
Yep.
We won't break those down again, but why don't we talk about your sleeper picks for this week, Adam?
All right. My number one would be Zach Moss. He was probably the number one waiver wire target this week for a lot of people that lost Jonathan Taylor for sure. He came in for the Colts last week, and I believe he had 24 carries in that game, and all the goal line work. He even got a few targets in the game. So we talked about the Chargers defense not being great. The Colts should probably be playing from behind a little bit in this game, I think. So Zach Moss could Jeff Saturday, the one thing Jeff Saturday's shown since he became coach is he'll run the ball even when they're behind by a little bit. So I think Zach Moss gets probably close to 20 carries in that game. Chargers run defense is not great. Good chance for a touchdown there. Again, he's somebody you could likely have picked up off the waiver wire.
Oh, yeah.
At wide receiver, I like Darius Slayton as a sleeper that you might be able to get on the wire. If not, I think he's a guy you could play in your flex if you got a desperation play there. We talked about the Minnesota game where that could be a back and forth game there. A lot of points put up. Darius Slayton's a big play type of guy, and he's been consistently getting pretty good yardage for a while now, 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, he's impressive.
Yeah, he's a good player. And Hunter Henry versus Cincinnati would be a tight end I think you can grab off the wire that has a good chance of scoring touchdowns. Cincinnati's not great against tight ends. They're kind of middle of the pack. Hunter Henry's a favorite of Mac Jones in the red zone.
Red zone machine.
Yeah, I think he's a great guy you could pick up and play. And, I mean, at tight end, all you're doing is hoping for a touchdown anyway. I think Hunter Henry has as good a chance as anybody. And then my streaming quarterback I would grab and play would probably be Brock Purdy. He'd probably be
I like it.
Yeah, he'd be the best guy I think you could play. Washington defense is pretty solid, but San Francisco just has so many weapons. Even with Debo out right now, you still got Kittle, you've got McCaffrey, you got Brandon Ayuk. I just think there's easy plays for him to make. He doesn't have to be, super dynamic to put up fantasy points, kind of like Jimmy G's always done. He can get 3 touchdowns and only throw for 200 yards. McCaffrey can make you look really good, and help out your stats really fast. So I like Purdy as a guy you can pick right up and play.
I love that, man. There's a lot of people that are going to pick him up this week, and I think they're going to benefit big time.
I think the 49ers have an interesting situation on their hands with Trey Lance and that, because I think Brock Purdy has shown he could be a pretty solid quarterback.
Yeah, man. See what he does with the playoffs here. I mean, I'm excited to watch that team in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, they really stayed just the same from Jimmy G to him. They haven't lost anything, really.
Yeah, it's impressive. It's really impressive. Another quarterback who's been kind of all over the place, but has kind of been steady lately-ish, is Daniel Jones. I like him as a sleeper pick against Minnesota. Minnesota's been known to have big games. I mean, they let Matt Ryan tear them up in the first half of that game last week, and they've given up a lot of points this year. So Daniel Jones, you could do a lot worse. He's going to use his legs a lot in this game. Devin Singletary is a guy I really like. I think the Bills are going to have to use the ball on the ground a lot. It's going to be really snowy. It's going to be nasty weather. It's a running back game. I think Singletary is going to get a lot more looks than people think in this game. I think he's worth a start as a flex this week. I really do.
Good call.
And then Marquise Goodwin at wide receiver for the Seattle Seahawks. They are fully banged up on wide receiver. Marquise Goodwin has been getting more and more involved. I think he's going to have a big day. Tyler Lockett is, I think he's still questionable for this game. I don't know if he's officially ruled out yet. But nonetheless, Marquise Goodwin's getting more and more involved, the ex-49er. And I like him this week. An outside flex, but if you're in a 12-man league, I think he's definitely worth a start.
He's an ex-Bear, Joe.
Yeah, that too. I tried to forget about that.
Well, not just last year.
Did. It was last year. Yeah.
Last season, yeah.
Yeah, forget about that. And then tight end for the Texans, Jordan Akins. This is a guy that has been getting more and more involved as well. Adam, as you know, Tennessee absolutely horrendous against the tight end. Jordan Akins, in what is a wasteland at tight end, could easily catch 6+ passes this week against Tennessee, which makes him a must-start tight end. Yes, it is a sleeper section, but I'm going as far as to say Jordan Akins, who is unowned in the majority of leagues, is a must-start against Tennessee this week. I'm probably nuts, but I honestly believe that, Adam.
That's a pretty good call. That guy has shown some real potential in the past. I mean, he had some flash games last year, I recall. I really don't know how he's done overall this year because don't pay that much attention to Houston fantasy players, but I think that's a pretty good call. We know that it's a good matchup.
So I've got his stats right here, Adam.
What's he got?
So last week against Kansas City, he had 6 targets. He caught 3 passes for 22 yards. And then did he have a touchdown? He did. He had a touchdown last week. So he had 11 and a half points last week. It's been kind of a roller coaster all season. He didn't play the first 2 games of the year. 12 points, 5 points, 4 points, 10 points, 1 point, 0 points, 10 points, 2 points, 14 points.
Right.
All those bigger games, Adam, are against teams that are bad against the tight end.
Yeah.
Tennessee
got 5 or 6 double-digit games there.
That's right. And Tennessee is very bad against the tight end. And he saw 6 targets last week. Over the last 3 weeks of the season, he has seen 14 targets. And over the last 4 games, he's seen 19 targets. So this is a guy that is available in almost every league that I'm in.
Yeah.
Plug him in and playing him. I'm really considering even playing him over Gerald Everett. That's how annoyed I am with Everett right now.
Yeah, man, Everett's just been wildly inconsistent.
I've talked myself into picking him up in the ballroom league, Adam.
Well, I think you can. I think it's worthy of doing over Gerald Everett.
I just got to figure out who I'm going to drop.
Yeah, Evan Ingram's up to 77 yards already.
Yeah, he's breaking 100 today, and he's going to get a score. I feel it in my bones. Side note, Adam, who would you drop? Tyler Boyd or Michael Gallup?
Probably
or Jacoby
Gallup.
Myers.
Probably Jacoby Myers.
Yeah, all right.
Or Gallup.
Well, I'm not going to start Myers.
I would keep Boyd because Higgins keeps popping up with that hamstring, and we've seen him go out of one game already. Boyd came back last week and scored a touchdown again.
I'm riding and dying on my fantasy advice here, Adam. I'm going to actually live it. I'm going to live it and go with my sleeper start over Gerald Everett.
I hope it works out for you.
If I lose by that move, then so be it. But
got to do what you say, buddy.
It's the nature of the beast, and I'm doing what I say. So that's it. Nonetheless, man, I was hoping our buddy Tooch would be here for his sleeper picks. Let me text him and see if he's going to make it. But we do have coming up in a half hour from now Science Fliction on the Ballroom Network. They're talking about the MCU if you're a Marvel fan, you don't want to miss this one. We're going to go probably not right up to it, but a little bit before. I'm going to see if Tooch can make it out. Otherwise, we'll just blast through his portion. Any questions in the chat? We'll answer them for you guys. Well, Adam, how's things going in your house for Christmas, man?
Man, it's going good. Like I said, just got off today. It was the last day of work for all the holidays and vacation through New Year's. So trying to wrap up the last little bit of shopping I got left, but mostly all done, and just trying to stay warm right now for these couple of days. And how's it going there with the little one for the first Christmas?
Oh, it's good, man. It's exciting. It's unfortunate that the weather is as messed up as it is, so it's kind of shifted our plans around a little bit, a day later, because Christmas Eve is supposed to be a disaster and Christmas Day is supposed to still be pretty bad, but, shift everything out a little bit, but we'll make it work. Over the course of the show, Adam, I've got my window open right over here, and I've slowly, the outside has just turned into like the street's gone. There's no street. The mailboxes are starting to get stacked. I'm like, oh man, I'm got to go do some snow blowing when this thing ends.
I do not wish that upon anyone, man.
I'm just curious to see what I'm going to wake up to in the morning.
Tell me you got one of those. Tell me you got a picture of Audrey with Santa Claus and she's like screaming and crying like everybody's first picture with Santa Claus, freaked out.
We didn't do a picture with her with Santa this year because she's not a year yet, and she would be absolutely terrified, and she'll be terrified next. She'll be terrified next year too, but we want her to be able to at least partially remember it, and she'll be a little bit better about that next year. So
those are always the best. Every kid's first Santa pictures, them screaming and crying always.
Oh, we'll definitely end up getting that. It'll just be next year.
Yeah.
I've got zero doubt.
Right.
Oh, we got
She'll
no
be
word
here
from
next month, right? She's in January, right?
You got it, buddy.
Yeah.
It's exciting stuff, man. It's crazy, the holidays with a kid.
Yeah, it's a whole different world, man. Now you go from now it turns into all the Christmases and birthday parties. You'll spend hours afterwards now taking screws off the back of toy packages and cutting ties that you cannot find what is holding this thing inside this cardboard box still, and you'll be throwing stuff around.
I got a few of those already. Yeah.
I can't tell you how many toys I accidentally cut parts off of that were not supposed to be cut and stuff because you just get furious after like an hour of trying to unwrap or open toys for them. And
dude, I did that we got her one of those like walker roller things, you put them in there and it's got the wheels on it. It's got like the Disney princesses on the front, and the complicatedness to it all.
Oh man.
It's like there's the body and then there's like a little plastic grid and there's three pieces to it and they each have a toy on it.
Yeah.
But like you have to get one of the toys in, you got to pull it out. It's on like this track. And then you got to install the thing, screw it from the bottom. And then you got to insert this track into the other side's track that goes into another track. And there's three of them and it kind of comes in. It's like, wouldn't it be okay if it was just one piece of plastic that you put it underneath and screwed it in?
Yeah.
I know it's supposed to be safety, but my God, it just seems unnecessarily complicated.
All the stuff on all the kids' toys, man, is unnecessarily complicated. I mean, these days, I can remember like my daughter's birthday parties and stuff. It's like you get a Barbie doll and it's like you have to have a screwdriver and scissors and all kinds of stuff just to get the Barbie doll out of the box because it's attached with so many different things. And they're like, are people really stealing Barbie dolls that hardcore or what? Like, what is the purpose of this?
Who knows, man? I know. Well, I'll be doing that stuff soon.
So have fun with that. I'm past all that. Now I'm just like, hey, Dad, can you give me these $200 Nike or these $200 Jordans? And then they open the box, and that's the end of the story.
Yeah, it's. I'll be there soon enough as well, buddy.
Yeah, before you know it, trust me. Uh-oh, we lost Joe once again. Well, hopefully he's back soon, but I do see Tuch's sleeper starts on the screen there, so I'll talk about them for a second. He's got, one of mine and Joe's starts of the week, Jarek McKinnon. Yeah, that's definitely a go. We love that game altogether. Joe mentioned Daniel Jones a minute ago as one of his also. I agree with that. He's been a really solid player right now, pretty consistent from 15 to 20 points. And he provides a little bit of upside as well to get you that 25-point mark or so with his legs, because he's usually good for 40 or 50 rushing yards. And versus the Vikings, we know that can happen. Joe's computer shut down on him, so I guess he's going to have to reboot and get started there. So we'll hopefully have him back in just a minute. Tooch also has Marquise Goodwin, which was, again, one of Joe's guys. I'm not saying Marquise Goodwin's not a good start. That one just didn't even cross my mind, really. I guess I didn't realize Tyler Lockett was banged up, honestly. Marquise Goodwin has had a couple of good games this year, I know, and we know he's tons of speed. He could be a deep threat in that game where they're going to need to put up points to stay in it. So that could be a very good play you could pick up off the waiver wire, I believe. And Tooch got K. Dotton at the Cardinals. I love that pick as a sleeper. I almost had that one as well. Tom Brady, we mentioned earlier, loves his tight ends. Cardinals, every tight end scores almost. I think last week it was the backup tight end that scored. I can't remember which team it was. And I think I picked the tight end and then the backup. I think it was the Vikings maybe. Anyway, backup tight end scored instead of the first string guy, but K. Dotton should be a solid play. That guy is a pretty good player, and Tom Brady's, I don't know who they're going to have at quarterback next year, but K. Dotton could be the tight end of the future there in Tampa Bay, I think. Let's see, what else we got? Looks like our Jaguars-Jets game has just gone to halftime, 13-3, Jacksonville. The latest fantasy news from there is going to be Trevor Lawrence with 41 yards rushing and a touchdown on the ground, plus 147 in the air. So pretty solid first half there. Travis Etienne with 64 yards rushing. Oh, and 29 yards receiving with 3 catches. So a nice first half for him as well. The Jet side of things are looking pretty bleak over there. Zach Wilson, 72 yards. Michael Carter, 3 yards rushing. Zach Wilson, 1 yard. And Zonovan Knight with 3 carries for 0 yards. He's back.
It's just the ultimate day of like technical problems. I don't know what's going on.
That's what snowstorms do, man.
I think it's actually my power on my laptop because I just got a new computer for my work laptop. This is a side story. It's one of those MacBook Airs, right?
Yeah.
So it came with a different charger. I didn't connect the dots. I used that charger on this new one. It's the same plug, but the power's been draining, and I think I just figured it out because I'm using the one for the little computer.
Maybe that is a problem.
I just realized we got a question here from Cesar that I didn't even see.
Oh, what we got?
I don't know if he's still here anymore, but we might as well take it. Well, we'll do that, and then we'll get back to Tooch's. He said Metcalf or Hopkins this week. I mean, I would go Metcalf.
I mean, if you have to choose between the two, that's the game I like more for sure. Hopkins, the third string quarterback. Yeah, I don't feel great about that without Kyler. I feel better about Metcalf trying to catch up to the Chiefs. So, I mean,
Yeah, me too.
It's hard to bench Hopkins. I mean, I don't know what the other options are, but
yeah, if you're still there, Cesar, let us know. Sorry I didn't see it before, but we're here now. Did you talk about any of Tooch's picks?
Yeah, I went over Tooch's sleeper starts there. They were on the screen. I talked about them. A couple of the guys you had, Daniel Jones and Marquise Goodwin. He had one of our starts of the week, Jarek McKinnon. And I love his K. Dotton pick there. I said we talked about Tom Brady a minute ago. I think K. Dotton's a fantastic sleeper pick.
Yeah, I agree, man.
Cesar's got a loaded team here. He's got Tyreek Hill and Justin Jefferson as well. So, yeah, I'd play Hill, Jefferson, and Metcalf.
Yep, all day, baby. That's it. Man, nice job. This guy must have been watching this show all year. I think he has, actually. Cesar's been in the chat room pretty much every show, so appreciate the support as always. And he said it could be either Cesar or Caesar, so he's fine with either one. So either way, we're happy to have you on board.
Yes, sir.
But good job drafting. Yeah, no doubt.
So you got a good shot there.
We've gotten to the sit portion of our show, Adam. And I can tell my computer is feeling a lot better because it actually does it when I click right away. So what do you got for your sits?
I got Cam Akers for the Rams versus the Broncos. I mentioned the Broncos defense a bit ago. Broncos have a great run defense. I think Cam Akers he's been pretty good the last few weeks, but he's the best thing they've got going right now. So I think the Broncos are going to focus on that and probably shut him down. I don't expect the Rams to be able to run the ball much at all. The other one is Dulcich on the other side of that game. We talked about him a minute ago. I just don't feel comfortable starting any Broncos players hardly at all right now. I think the Rams defense is not great, but they're not the worst either. But I don't know. Greg Dulcich burned me last week, and I have trouble going back to him in the playoffs right now. And then was DJ Moore, man. DJ Moore will let down this year. Not all his fault. He's a terrific player. Just terrible quarterback play on a bad offense. But Detroit, you like Detroit's defense, and that's the reason I had DJ Moore on this list, because Detroit's defense has been really good lately. And I think DJ Moore's the best weapon Carolina has, and Detroit and Dan Campbell will probably take that away. And we know the quarterback play is not great there, so I would not be comfortable playing DJ Moore in my fantasy playoffs.
I'm with you, man. I know a lot of people are saying, "Oh, you got to start him with this matchup." I'm like, no, you don't.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying he can't have a good game, but again, I'm trying to reduce risk in the playoffs.
Amen, brother. You're preaching to the choir there. I mean, that's what I got a lot of that on mine here too. I mean, Deshaun Watson, we've talked about it. He's not getting it done through the air.
Nope.
They're going to have to get it done on the ground, and you can't start him against New Orleans. Definitely not in the playoffs. A guy that has been phenomenal, and this is no discount against him and Brian Robinson. For me, he's a sit against San Francisco. They're so good against the run. They shut it down. They're going to have to pass against San Francisco if they want to win. So for me, for that reason, I can't start him with good consciousness. On the Arizona side of the ball, at wide receiver, a lot of people feeling good about Marquise Brown. I don't feel good about him at all against Tampa Bay. I think he is a must bench. I don't even like DeAndre Hopkins, but you can't bench him. It's impossible. But I'm not touching Marquise Brown with a 10-foot pole. I can't imagine he's going to get any action in this game, especially with a third-string quarterback. And I have Cole Kmet on my bench list, Adam, and I know you love him this week, and he might very well be the chuck down guy. I just feel like it's going to be a rushing day. That's just my feeling. So for that reason, I have Kmet as a bench. Obviously, tight end is such a wasteland that it probably doesn't really matter or not if you bench him. But I think Kmet's might even be in danger of putting up a goose egg this week. The weather's really, really going to be shitty. So I hope for my sake that you're right and I'm wrong, Adam. I just have this feeling about Cole Kmet.
You could be right, man. Wasn't that long ago I drafted Cole Kmet, and he goosed the first 2 weeks of the year.
Yeah, I remember that.
Remember that? It took 3 weeks for him to get a single fantasy point.
Yeah, how amazing how things change really quickly.
Yeah, that was a totally different offense at that time, though, to start the season.
It sure
but
was.
I like the Marquise Brown choice as well. I almost put him on my list as well because I just don't feel real good about anybody in the passing game for the Cardinals. I really was going to put James Conner on my starts because I think he's the best thing the Cardinals going to have going in that game. And Conner's looked really good since he came back.
I second that. Just don't love it this week. Let's take a look at our buddy Tooch's sits of the week, and then we'll get out of here, and maybe he'll pop in here in the last couple minutes. I text him, no response, but that's okay. Andy Dalton against the Browns. I can't say I have any problems with that, Adam.
No, absolutely not. We talked about we love the Browns defense this week. Tooch, I think, had the Browns defense as well, so that one makes perfect sense to me. And, yeah, he's on the right track there, like with you said, Brian Robinson. I don't like any of the Commanders versus 49ers this week. I'm avoiding all of them.
Yeah, no, I second that. It's a scary time.
Yeah. I could see Taylor Heineke having 2, maybe 3 picks in that game.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough sledding for the Commanders. I would be stunned if they had a way to win this game, but
Yeah, the
I've improved.
49ers defense could be gold.
Yeah, this could be their year, Adam. It really could. They fought through a lot this year, and they're still really good. So only time will tell. Worth noting to our listeners that we got one more show after this for the championships next week. We're probably looking at New Year's Day, but again, we'll figure that out over the course of the week with all the guys and schedules and all that stuff. Holidays are weird. Timing is weird. But it's weird to think that I'll still be off work a week from today, and so will Adam. It's kind of
Yeah,
weird.
exactly. It's awesome to think.
I'm like, what am I going to do? It's like, I got plenty of stuff to do, but
yeah, unfortunately, it'll get filled fast, and then you'll be like, "Oh my God, I have to go back to work tomorrow already."
yeah, no, I'll be changing a lot of diapers this week. Well, I always do, but extra.
Right.
Living the dream there. But, well, guys, we have about 12 minutes until Science Fliction starts on the Barroom Network, and I'm going to remind everybody to hit that subscribe button to be notified when the Barroom Network goes live with all our great content. Science Fliction is talking about the MCU today, Marvel fans, so check that out. It ought to be fun. And, of course, there's tons of other great shows on the network. You got Bear Football previewing the Bears game every single Sunday. This upcoming Sunday, or is it Saturday? No, it's Saturday. Saturday on the Barfly Tailgate Show here on the Barroom Network. I believe it's 10 a.m. Central or 9 a.m. Central.
I think 9 Central.
9 Central, 10 Eastern is going to be the Christmas special. They, of course, preview Bears, Bills, and a lot of the network personalities will be on that show. I don't think I'm going to be able to make it. It's tough with the little one, but if I can, I will be on there. Are you doing the Mike North show, Adam? Is that happening?
I don't know. I need to check in with Aldo about that this week.
Because I know Mike North does a show. I don't know if he's doing it on Christmas or what.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they're doing this week.
But regardless, tons of great content on the Barroom Network. Make sure you subscribe. Follow us on Twitter at FFBGoon. Follow Adam at PapaBear816. Of course, you can follow myself at Joe Mandel. And you can follow our buddy Tooch at John Santucci VIP. Of course, we wish our buddy Tooch could have made it here, so wish him a happy holidays and Merry Christmas. We send him those wishes to his, all in good faith, and we look forward to talking with him again next week. Adam, I wish you nothing but the best for you and your family. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Well, we'll talk before the New Year, but hopefully you guys have a great holiday season, and it looks like it got off on the right foot with everyone's getting buried with snow.
Yeah, if we can just all survive the weather, I think everybody's good to go. But same to you, Joe, and your family. Merry Christmas to you guys.
Thank you, sir.
It's going to be a special one for you all with the baby's first Christmas, so enjoy all that. Only happens one time, so take it all in. And, Tooch, sorry we didn't get to see you tonight, but hopefully I'm sure you're having to drive home super slowly through the snowstorm from swim lessons, and it's probably taking you forever, so be safe. Merry Christmas to Tooch and his family, and to all the Barflies and everybody for tuning in every week so far through the season. And like you said, we got one more week to go, so hopefully everybody can win this week and advance to the championships next week, and we'll get you over the hump and get that. Hopefully you got titles before, but if not, let's make it your first one.
That's what it's all about, man. We want to help you win that fantasy championship. And at the very least, we appreciate you guys trusting us to give you the advice that you need every single week. So it means the world to us. We appreciate you guys tuning in. With that said, we'll wrap it up. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. For those of you who celebrated, Happy Hanukkah. It's just the holiday season across the board. Enjoy your families. Enjoy your lives, and just enjoy every single moment and kick some ass in fantasy. As always, for Fantasy Football Goon, I'm Joe Mandel. That's Adam Schaum, the man with the plan. The Tooch is driving on some icy roads in Iowa. We're wishing him the best. But as always, God bless America. God bless football. And let's kick some ass. Go win some matchups. Good luck. And we'll see you next week getting ready for the championship. Good luck, everybody.
Good luck, guys.